Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's call, private money Q&A call. If you could do me a favor, can you hear me okay? There should be a chat box located on your screen on the right side. If somebody could just say, Brian, we hear you loud and clear, that would be very helpful. All right. Thank you, Andy. Appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to show my screen here, and we'll get started. All right, so now I assume you can see the screen there about private money Q&A, and if we get started here and anything comes up, just feel free to place something in the chat box. In the meantime, this is your time. I want to be respectful of your time. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day right now to be on this call with me. But if there's questions that you have about private money or raising private money or just setting up your private money business, take the time in the chat box and enter those questions so we can get those addressed, so we can fast track you kind of going forward. So without further ado, so that I just mentioned about the chat box. If you've got a question, please put that in there for me. And what I want to do in the meantime is raising private money. I often get the question from folks that I consult with. They're all over the place, right? They want to do real estate. One day they're telling me they're doing short sales. The next day it's flip deals, and then they want to do hotels, and they're just all over the place. So take the time, really schedule the time with yourself to get clear on why you are in business. I don't know if I ever shared this story with you, but I'll just take a couple of minutes real quick as you're getting your questions ready in the queue. Is why I got into this business is really to fulfill a personal need. My background was a CPA. I was working just crazy hours during tax season. I have 2 young girls, and I just wasn't seeing them. I was working crazy hours, like I mentioned, and seeing them 10 minutes in the morning, as well as my wife, and I just was not very fulfilled. Even though I was making a nice paycheck day in and day out, I just was not filled. I didn't have, I wasn't really passionate about that CPA job anymore. And, I was kind of just dabbling with real estate. I was having some success. So I decided on December 15th of 2011 to make a go at this. And I walked away from that CPA gig to focus 100% on my business. And I will admit with you that it has been challenging, right? Anytime you're building a business that you want to call your own or have some profits, you're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to hit challenges along the way. So really get clear on why you're in business and what is the purpose of your business. Again, as I mentioned, some investors, they're just all over the place, and they don't have the clarity of what they want to accomplish with their business. What is the purpose of your business? And what competitive advantages do you have? If somebody is going to invest with me and they're going to invest with you, what separates your company from my company? What are those things that you can, separate yourself, your unique selling proposition? What are those items that make you attractive to somebody else? Because people that invest money in your real estate opportunities, they want to trust you, they want to like you, and they're going to believe in you. And if you're kind of shady and so they're going to go somewhere else, is my point there. And what I've also found is once you get very clear on what your business is all about, it provides you the opportunity to share your vision with that prospect investor. Get very clear on where you're going, what you want to accomplish. So you get investors kind of buy into that because they say, "Wow, he's very prepared. He kind of knows what he's up to here." I want to just cover a couple segments here, and I don't know. I want to make sure I see any questions here coming in. Yeah, so I guess a couple of people are just waiting here. So if you get your questions, that'd be helpful. So marketing, the great Peter Drucker states that business has only two functions: marketing and innovation. And I couldn't agree with you with that statement, more. I mean, just like any business, raising private money is all about marketing. If you're not marketing either for deals, for opportunities to come in to present to the investor, at the same time you need to be marketing towards investors, consistently. And you might have the best property, but if you can't secure the funds to close, it's going to be a very frustrating process. And just ask me. I've been in these shoes, and I've been in the situation 2 weeks before closing. An investor pulled out $200,000 that they just, whatever reason, personal issue came up. Could I have, it was already in escrow, and we were closing a 120 unit deal. Could I have pushed that investor to, come through with the money? I mean, because they really had signed the commitment form to put the money up. What I chose to do instead was to give their money back, because I knew, because of the situation, it just wasn't going to be the best interest for me, for them, or for the whole deal, in general, because it was going to put them in a lot of stress. And that's the last thing I want to do is put somebody's money in play that they just don't feel comfortable, or they've got a situation that's come up. Why I bring this up is, what could have happened? I didn't have the money to close 2 weeks before it, but I've had the opportunity just to market and continue to keep other investors in the loop, in the pipeline. So I was quickly able to fulfill that commitment with somebody else. So my point here is marketing. You got to be consistently doing this on a regular basis. And I must admit, I don't do it on a consistent basis. So it's something that I try to work on a daily basis to get better at, because the more that you are able to be in front of somebody, being top of mind, coming back to that competitive advantage, they're going to think of you first. So here's a piece, just one of the pieces that I send out to folks in my lists, and I call it, "Are you a sucker or a dum-dum?" The banks certainly think you are. It's just kind of a different approach than probably what you may have seen in others, but the target market, and let me back up 1 second. Marketing is really three components, right? It's what I call the 3 M's. It's your market, who you're sending this piece to, your medium. The medium would be this letter, a postcard, maybe a report, a free report, an ebook, or a video, or an MP3, something like that. And your message. What is the message that you want to communicate to that individual? And you might have just a crappy message, but it's going to the right market, and those folks just really kind of understand. So this particular piece is going to folks who I believe have a CD that's earning less than 1% of their money. And I'm just basically saying here, the banks think you're a sucker. And what I used here were, colored envelopes, as you can see here on the right side here. So very vibrant colors. When somebody gets that in the mailbox, they're saying, "What in the world is this?" And then with the sucker, or the dum-dum, I should say, it makes the envelope lumpy. And that lumpy mail produces intrigue or curiosity of that prospect to say, "Why am I getting this?" And then they look at the letter, it's handwritten. We do that in a blue ink, addressed to them, and then, a return address. So they're saying, why am I getting this? And they open it up. And I don't know if you know anything about marketing, but with direct mail, 1 to 2% is, pretty standard. I'm pulling about a 15 to 17% response rate from this potential piece that I send out. And just to clarify, I send this out to a list that I have internal. I'm getting ready to test it to external list too, but it's been very successful. So again, so we're talking about marketing here. You want to, create your message that who you're going to send it to. What is your message? What do you want them to do? And what is your medium going to be? Is it going to be a combination of maybe a postcard and then followed up with a phone call for them to download a free report of deals that you may have worked on, maybe opportunities that they can get themselves involved with? Any questions before I move on? Any questions about the what we've covered so far? Okay, I'm not seeing any questions popping up. But if anything comes up, just this is your time to ask away. Okay, so the next piece is when you're communicating with your investor, it's all about follow up. And I'll tell you this story. I've been working on an investor, and I shouldn't say work on. I've had a relationship with an investor who about a year and a half ago claimed they were interested in investing in a deal. And, it's all about consistent follow up. If I would have given up a year and a half ago, they would have, that would have been fine, right? They would have just probably invested with somebody else. But because of consistent follow up, sending marketing pieces and emails and just giving calls and just, creating that relationship, that investor has put up, let's see, 100 and a quarter in one of my deals. She's referred me to somebody else at 100, and they're already invested in a deal. And they've also she's referred me to somebody that's contemplating about about 500,000. So again, it's all about follow up. So I call this my money tree. And I don't know if you know what a money tree is, but it's a bonsai looking thing. There's a picture there, of course. Very resilient, doesn't require much sunlight, I guess, and maybe some. And, obviously needs water. And I use a program called Infusionsoft. And if you're not familiar with Infusion or any automating your business, make sure to write that down. It's something you want to think about doing. Because I started using Outlook. I went from Outlook to Constant Contact. I went from Constant Contact to Aweber, and I went from Aweber to Infusionsoft. And at one time, guys, I had all three. I was nuts. I just had all these databases and sending out emails in Outlook, and you only have 5 or 10 emails, and you're sending maybe them once a week or once a month. That's not too bad. But when you start building up your list, which I encourage you as part of your marketing, you want to have a stable of ready to go investors, and that's what this business is all about, is providing these opportunities to a group of investors who want to do business with you. And part of doing business is identifying what that investor is looking for. So coming back to that example of somebody who's all over the place, if I would present that investor I'm talking about, one day I'm going to do a hotel deal, I'm going to share it with them, next deal I'm giving them a land deal, and next day I'm giving them something else. Well, that's kind of insulting to them because they told me, way in the beginning that this is what opportunities that they wanted to invest in. They wanted single-family home flip deals. So I went out and scoured the market and was, bringing them opportunities, and some deals just didn't work. So anyway, coming back to Infusionsoft and why I brought that up is I partnered with a local florist, and this local florist can ship across the country. As a part of Infusionsoft, I go into my database and I say, let's just call it John Smith. John Smith is now an investor. I mark that investor, what Infusion is called tag. So I put a tag in place, and all this stuff then is automated. The information gets sent over to my florist. She does my fulfillment, and she puts a note in with the plant. It says, dear, let's call it just John Smith. It takes time and effort to grow a great business relationship. Let this money tree represent good fortune and positive outcomes to you and your family. We're grateful to allow us to help you grow your wealth to your prosperity. So it's just, it's just a small touch, and why I bring it up, I want to show you is here's an investor named Sharon. She responds, surprises are great. Brian, thanks for the lovely plant. I could not see without my glasses, so I asked my husband if he was sure it was addressed to me. I said, but I did not order anything. Anyway, this will be my first plant in the house, so that's great. With our appreciation, this sure makes a tough week at work soothing, Sharon. So, it's just simple things that you're strengthening a relationship. Maybe Sharon will be out at maybe a networking event, her personally, or out at a friend's house, and maybe a conversation will come up and about, investing in business, and, she may pass my name off to a friend. So it's creating not only goodwill, because I do appreciate Sharon so much for trusting my business, but at the same time, that it's creating maybe some reciprocity. And then Cynthia here says, hi, Brian, received the money tree plant. Thank you for your thoughtfulness, Cynthia. So it's, again, just, these little touches that strengthen relationships. So cash flow per hour, and I guys, I really do struggle with this. And what I mean by this is there are times when I just focus on doing the wrong things in my day. And I don't know if any of you have had that experience before, but for all of us, the only equalizing factor is time. The great athletes, the president, whoever you can think of, we all have 24 hours in the day to get whatever we're going to get done accomplished. And we all, need to look at our days and protect our time as carefully as we can, because there's so many things that I know personally I do that are time wasters, and it's not moving my business forward in the way that it needs to be moving forward. So let me give you an example. So let's begin with the end in mind. So as you're maybe planning for 2014, or maybe you're planning for the end of the quarter here, what do you want to accomplish? And maybe that's more investor contacts, maybe that's doing more deals, maybe that's making a certain profit level. How much do you want to make in a year? And then take that amount and say how much do you want to make in a week. So again, you're beginning with that end result. What is your ultimate outcome? Where do you want to go? And then build a strategy or plan to get towards it. And then, how much do you need to make in a day? And where I'm going to get to here shortly is, let's say you want to make, I'm just picking a number, $360K a year with your real estate business. That's your profit that you want to make doing deals. So let's say you want to make 360, and so that's just doing the math. That's $30,000 a month, and that's $7,500 a week. And that is $1,500 a day based on 5 days. I didn't factor in Saturdays and Sundays, even though some of us probably on the call were working crazy hours and maybe picking up hours on the weekend to make up for some other things. So what is my cash flow per hour? And I got to open up a spreadsheet that might be, just bear with me one second, guys. All right. So I took the liberty, and I'm going to walk through this part of it next, but I just dropped these numbers in. How much you want to make, and then, per day. So again, all of us, we have 24 hours in the day. And this is a little bit personal, but I figured what the heck, I might as well, I want to be completely honest and transparent with you. So I equate, I get about 7 hours of sleep per night. I factor about a half an hour of exercise. And I've built my day really for my family. As I brought up in the beginning of this discussion, is that I was just working hours that I could never get back. I was missing time with my children, my family. So I built in time in my day, family time, just being around in the morning, taking my girls to school, dropping them off at the bus stop, picking the girls up at the bus stop, and just being around at dinner time and doing the the books and the bath and the bedtime. So my allocation towards my family is I don't know what yours would look like, but I just that's something that's really important to me, as well as I have time for lunch and networking events that I go to, and travel time. So really, when I'm looking at 24 hours in my day, I really only have 7 hours to 100% focus on my business. So when I talk about my cash flow per hour, in order to accomplish these goals, I need to be working on tasks that exceed $214. If I'm doing $10 an hour work, well, that's really not accomplishing my goals. And things that I know I should be delegating and I working towards, guys, is spend time doing my own website. There's folks that can do this cheaper. Doing my bookkeeping, even though I'm a CPA, I'm very skilled at it. I could do it very quickly. That's just tasks that can be outsourced to somebody else. Administrative tasks, just paperwork. I send out certain things to an investor. Do I need to be doing that, or can I hire somebody at $8 to $10 an hour to do it for me. Not automating my business. And, coming back to automating your business, either that's using Outlook, Constant Contact, whatever your choice is if you're sending out 5 emails a week to your list, start monitoring how much time that's taking you. If it's a minute per email and then just multiply that out, could that time be better suited by automating it? Or maybe finding somebody else like a personal assistant to do it for you. I go to networking events and I get a stack of business cards, and I enter that into entering that into my system. Well, that's a real pain in the butt. You got to look at each card, you got to look at the phone numbers and do all that good stuff. Well, now what I do, I have an assistant that is remote. So I go to my copier, I make a copy of the business card, both front and back. I scan and email that document to that person, and they put it in an Excel schedule, and they send it back to me, and I import it in. Eventually, I may have that person do all the importing for me, so I don't even have to worry about that side of it. But I still want a little bit of that control. But again, that's taking the $10 an hour stuff that's taken out of my 7 hours that I have available right now, and it's putting me in a position to focus on really 2 components of my business. And I challenge you, really challenge you to focus on this as well, is that real estate in a simplistic form is really built on 2 things. It's built on the deals, and it's built on the dollars, meaning you need opportunities. You need really good opportunities to be profitable, to hit what you want to make in a year. And you need dollars. You need the money to actually close the transaction. I've been in these shoes, guys. I've been in the place where I've looked at a deal. I get the deal under contract. It was a 98-unit apartment complex. It was last year. It was very frustrating. I had a large investor pull out on me, and it was just one of those things where pulls out. I just was scrambling to bring $1 million to the table. I just didn't have it within the time period. And with due diligence, you have money costs, you've got attorney costs, you've got things in place. So I guess what I'm trying to say is you really want to focus on how you can be the most successful, and that's, in my mind, is making sure you have enough deals coming in and the dollars, enough investors in your pipeline, that when those situations come up, I didn't have that my strategy like I have now. So that will never, knock on wood, that will never happen again where I get almost to a closing table and I can't fund the deal. So I've built my business or my, the private money course around having a systemized approach to securing investors. And then sending letters. I shared with you about, the letters. I used to send these letters out myself. And what I'm in the process of doing, it's not ready to roll out, but it will be soon, is I'm locking up an exclusive rights with a couple things. One, having a list broker who understands the type of target audience that myself, as well as my potential consulting clients or folks on this call would be going after. And those would be individuals that have money in a CD who's basically earning nothing, or investors who have an IRA account. You probably know this, but you can use a self-directed IRA to invest in real estate. So it's a conversion that happens very nicely, and I say about 30% of my money comes from using a self-directed IRA. And there's some other targeted lists that I go into. For example, I call it my avatar, my investor avatar. I want to target folks from a marketing perspective who are maybe have a certain type of income or net worth. Maybe, I'll just give it to you real quickly, is somebody who drives a BMW, a Mercedes, plays golf, likes art, college educated, usually married, 2 kids, I kind of drill in male. Usually it's a male, but also there's I also look at the female as well. In the age group of 45 to 60 is kind of the sweet spot. So when I'm talking about marketing letters, we're really drilling down on a very targeted audience. I am kind of hopping around a little bit, but before I was taking a shotgun approach, when I was looking for investors. I was just anybody that I could, either talk to or converse with. I was, trying to sell them on my deal. Now I do more of what I call sniper marketing. I'm very clear on who my audience is, and I'm presenting opportunities to them instead of just blasting out big emails and hopefully something sticks. I'm very clear on who I'm going after. But coming back to this whole what I'm going to be putting out or together is I'm going to have somebody that does my list. I'm going to have collateral information such as the letter I shared with you as a landing page and squeeze page and reports. So it's really going to be a plug-and-play situation. At the same time, having someone that does the fulfillment of the letters, so it's all automated. Because I know for myself, I've had situations where I try to do it all myself. Coming back to that cash flow per hour, it doesn't make sense for me to, go to the post office and stuff in the envelopes and all other good stuff. There's other people that you can delegate this to help you accomplish your goals. So that will be something that you may see, down the pipeline about this program that'll be rolling out. So that's the cash flow per hour, and I've been chatting away here. So let me just make sure I don't have anything else. Oh, that's the example. So I really don't have too much else to discuss. And let me go over here to the question list. Either I'm talking to myself or you guys don't have any questions. Are you guys still with me here? Can I at least get somebody acknowledge that you're still alive? All right, so Ed, thanks. I appreciate that. And saw another one. Okay, Andy's asking how much time allocated to deals versus dollars. Great question, Andy. I appreciate you bringing that up. I hate to say this word, but it depends. I do try to break up my day so that maybe it's out of those 7 hours, 2 hours in the morning. I'm analyzing deals like a madman. I'm looking at all the deals in my pipeline, and just to see what works, what's gonna be something that I want to go after, and I try to do then the 2 hours in the afternoon of calling the investors because of West Coast time, and I just found that people after lunch, I can get them right after lunch, maybe like 2 o'clock, 1:30 to 2 o'clock. I then start calling folks. On a daily basis, out of those 7 hours, I try to spend at least 4 hours what I call panning for properties and dialing for dollars, because always we want to have enough pipeline coming in of opportunities to present to the investor, and at the same time we want enough investors so that if a deal comes across that's intriguing to them, we're able to close it. All right. All right, that's right, Ed. Let me address some of your questions. Thank you for responding. What type of terms would you suggest someone just starting out with private investing? And that question ranges. And how I kind of reframe that question is I come back to the investor and I really want to understand what their goals are. Some investors, I could go out and say, I'm going to pay you 15% of your money. Well, if I haven't established a relationship with that investor, and maybe they're familiar with this guy named Bernie Madoff, they may say, well, wow, that sounds too good to be true. The alarm bells in their head go off, and they start thinking, well, I don't know if I want to invest with him. So what I try to do is I first want to understand where they're coming from. If they're an investor making 1 or 2% of their money now, and I can provide them an opportunity where they're making 6%, 8%, or whatever that number is, that might be more attractive to them than saying 15%. Because what are they going to do if I go immediately right to the return, and they're going to go to their spouse and say, oh yeah, Brian's going to give me 15%. Immediately, spouse is going to be like, what are you, nuts? Run away. So how much you're going to pay somebody really depends on how much the deal can support itself. And Ed is a very seasoned real estate investor who's doing just awesome stuff. So it's one of those things is, what can your deal, what can you afford to pay the investor? Because what two things can happen is, one, we don't want to be greedy in this business. We want to make sure that our investors are making a nice return, because we do have a fiduciary responsibility to them. But at the same time, let's say you pay them just maybe a little bit more on the first one, and they're just like high-fiving you once they get paid. Well, what are they going to do to that level of reciprocity again? They're going to go tell their buddies. They're going to go tell their friends. And then you then create this, steamroller of just, new investors coming into your pipeline, just because maybe you're going to take one on the chin in the beginning, or maybe you're just, instead of you making, X profit, you're going to, make a little bit less, just to create those relationships with investors. So I guess, Ed, what I'm trying to tell you is that it really does depend on, what the investor is looking for. And I try to ask clarifying questions like, well, what are you making now? And what do you want to make? And because I've had situations where I immediately jump from, oh, they're going to want to make 10% of their money, or whatever that magic number is. Well, that might not be the right choice for the investor. They might have other goals that you really want to drill down to, and what problems that you may be able to solve for them. Because I've had situations where it's really not about the return; it's about their level of comfort. And as I said before, folks will do business with you when they trust you and they like you, regardless. What I found anyway, it's not the rate of return. They're really wanting to make sure that you are going to perform, and that you will, make sure they get their money back with a stated return. All right, Andy, great question also. Question is, what's one thing you could do to motivate me to take action today? And when does your next ebook come out? Are you offering coaching, classes, consulting, etc.? How can I contact you to discuss my needs? Wow, man, thanks for great questions there. Let me start from the top. What's one thing I can do to motivate you to take action today? I mean, it really, having private money is just having access to private money. It's like you wake up, you jump out of bed, and you just have a lot of excitement. Because once you have private money, you don't need to deal with the banks. When you have private money and you create the system that I've tried to put in the ebook for your resource, is you're creating a stream of funds coming into your business where you're not waiting 60, 90 days for a bank to approve you. You're not waiting for that bank to, say, oh, you didn't do this, or, the fees and the origination and points. You are in control of the opportunity yourself. So to get you motivated, it's coming back to how much money do you want to make, and then, get clear on your business and get excited, get passionate about what you have in front of you. You've got a business that can make a boatload of money. It's not going to be easy. There's no easy button, guys. I will tell you that. I've gotten some emails from guys who are folks, just to be gender neutral, saying that, hey, I got your book, great content, but I need money. Today's Thursday, and I need money by Monday. Well, raising private money doesn't happen that fast, even though you can set your systems up. But when you meet somebody, we're not selling a $20 widget. This could be $50,000, $100,000, or more. So you really do need to work on that relationship. So I don't know if I'm helping you, Andy, get motivated. It really comes down to getting clear in your own business on what do you want to accomplish, and what systems or process can you start putting in place to start making money in your business. And then to hit your other question, when does your next ebook come out? So I've made some big revisions to this ebook on raising private money, and let me tell you where this all came from. Is the ebook was really a result of a need that other investors were coming to me about. They were wanting to. Let me just change my screen here a little bit. just so you don't have to see my icon. Sorry about that. Hit the wrong button. I'm still getting familiar. I'm using GoToWebinar. Well, I want to talk about this. I'll bring this over. Sorry about that. So the ebook was really just a way for me to systemize my own approach, and then other investors start coming to me and asking about, hey, how can I get involved? So that's where the first edition of ebook, the private money book, came out. So I'm making some revisions. I hope to have that out by next week. If not, I mean, you're going to get a copy of it for free, and you'll get, since you've already purchased the product, you'll definitely get a copy of it. But and so hopefully that helps you, Andy. The next part of your question, are you offering coaching classes, consulting, and how can I contact you to discuss my needs? So yes, I do offer coaching, consulting, taking your business, fast-tracking you. Really, it starts back to your business. What is your business all about? What business are you really in? And putting a framework and strategy around how much money you want to make, how many investors do you need, and really, guys, you may only need to do this one time. Once you formulate your business plan and your strategy, I offer services where we take your website, we get content built around that. We start driving leads to a website and getting a landing page and reports, free reports, the marketing that I'm talking about. So I do offer some of those services, and folks can contact me directly about pricing and how I can best serve you to hit your goals, because that's what this is all about, is making sure that you're hitting your numbers. I want you to be successful. You invested in me, and I want to give that back to you. I want to make sure that you're hitting and meeting your goals. So, Andy, I hope I got to all your questions there. And another question just came in. Is crowdfunding allowed? Are there any websites that you would recommend? Crowdfunding is, let me back up. So SEC, about 90 days ago, I guess it was in June, they basically allowed folks to advertise and solicitate. And what do I mean by that? So I can't go to my local real estate club, stand up in front of the room and say, hey guys, I got this apartment deal or whatever deal, and I'm going to pay you 12% on your money. Meet me in the back of the room and let's do some business. That's a flag, guys. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Don't put that same advertisement out on LinkedIn or Facebook. SEC does not like general solicitation. As I showed you in my marketing piece, there was no, even though I brought up about the bank rate, nothing in that piece says that I'm going to pay somebody a stated return, because I don't have what's called a pre-existing relationship, a relationship with an investor that I know what their goals are. So the SEC really frowns upon that. So the whole issue has come up that now with the SEC, as part of I guess a new regulation that now was approved. It came out, I believe, the 23rd of September. So now it is effective, where hedge funds and other folks can now advertise. You're going to start seeing newspaper ads. You're going to start seeing most likely radio ads, television, all kinds of these big players advertising to accredited investors. And if you're not familiar with the term accredited investor, just real quickly, accredited investor, by definition of the SEC, is someone that makes $200,000 as a single person, $300,000 as a joint tax filer, or $1 million of net worth excluding personal residence, to be what's deemed an accredited investor. So if you fit those two criteria, that's the target audience. The deals that I put together, the large deals that I do SEC Reg D. It's called a 506. It used to be just 506, but now it's a 506B, where I can't advertise. I can't, like I just mentioned, I can't go to my local RIA and start, chirping that I've got a deal and this is the return. I have to form a pre-existing relationship. I have to understand their goals. That's still allowable. The 506C is now something that's in play where you can do the advertising, but there's a lot of wrinkles, and be very careful because this rule just came out. So you don't want to get slapped by the SEC, but because they can shut you down And I don't mean to joke about that. I mean, I've heard stories where, SEC has really put some financial hardship on folks who just they just didn't know the rules. They didn't dot the I's and cross the T's, and that's part of what I want to present to you guys is making sure you're doing it kind of the right way. But so as part of this new rule with validating someone who's accredited, the old way is somebody self validates. I give them a form. It's called my investor questionnaire form. They say, hey, Brian, I'm either, I make $300K because I'm married, or I check mark that I'm, $1 million of personal resident, excluding personal residence of net worth. I'm sorry, $1 million of net worth, excluding personal residence. They give me a form. Boom, we're good. It's validated. I have no issue. With the new rule now, that with the 506C, you actually have to get tax returns, financial statements. You have to do a lot of more inquiry, and you have to have proof. And some investors most likely would not feel comfortable giving that data over to somebody else. So, sorry, I'm probably going off on a little bit of tangent, Ed, but I hope I got you with crowdfunding. So coming back to that, just to make sure I'm real clear, is I would be careful with going to crowdfunding sites because it's just relatively new stuff. And I would hate for you to get down a path or do something and then you get yourself get in trouble down the road. So I'm still careful about using crowdfunding. My approach is targeting those investors where we can have develop a good relationship. I don't see any other questions in the queue, but one question that I got emailed because I knew the person was not going to be on the call is this how to build your list. And it's always key, how are you going to find those targeted investors? An approach that I started out, a while back, and I provide these consulting services, and that's what, that's our first approach is you want to build out who you're going to present these opportunities for or to. And it's really just sitting down and, going through your list of contacts that family members, friends, maybe your doctor, your dentist, an attorney. Maybe you've got a CPA, or maybe a bookkeeper, or maybe a couple of different folks. Your insurance agents, financial planners, neighbors, local business owners, and other contacts. With this approach, I don't know if I guess I got 10 categories. So you've got basically 50 folks here that you can start marketing towards. And I want to be very clear here. This is an important point, is that you're not going to go, you make this list, and tonight you're not going to go maybe to your mom or dad or parents or whoever and say, hey, I got this deal. You want to invest $50,000 in my deal? The approach that I would suggest you do is say, hey, I got this, I'm in this real estate business, and these are the types of opportunities that I'm working on, and these are the types of returns that I'm able to pay folks. Do you know anybody in your list or contact that you think we could help get a better return? When you start phrasing the question slightly different, their guard goes down, because what I call this is your circle of influence. You have probably a deeper connection with this type of, a family member or a friend than you do meeting somebody for the first time in a networking event. So a family member or a friend is going to say, wow, you've got a problem here. I want to try to help you solve it. And then they'll say, hey, I know so-and-so that might be a good candidate for you. And so then they're just being a conduit to you. You've never asked them for money to invest, and they're going to be kind of the gatekeeper kind of in the beginning. They're like, hey, I got so-and-so. Tell me a little bit more about what you're offering and about your business. Well, boom, then you can do your elevator pitch or a quick synopsis of your business. Remember, we started this in the beginning, and get clear on your business so you can communicate it. You tell that friend or family member about that, and what do? They're going to then go tell their friends about it. And all along, this is what I found is it's just really amazing to me, is that those individuals are selling themselves as being a potential investor, because you're educating them, they're educating their friends. In the meantime, they're like, well, wait a second, why can't I participate in this? So all along, you never asked them to invest. You're just kind of presenting the opportunity because you need their help. And so this approach works really well. If you haven't done this was a tip that I sent out through the ebook process. And if you don't have it, I can certainly email it to you. But really sit down, and if you don't have a list, or if you don't have folks that you think you can market to, I know you've got people that you can market to. Even if it's just 2 people, you can at least take the action. As Andy said before about a question of motivate. If you want to get private money into your business, you've got to take some action. And this is just a first step of building up your list so you can start targeting private money. So I hope that was helpful to you. Now I am looking at the Q&As here, and I think I've got everyone covered here. I just want to hit 2 more things, and I know we're coming on our 1 o'clock. I want to be respectful of your time today. Is private money again is about relationships. You really want to form those relationships, and it's not really a transaction-based relationship. It's not, hey, I'm going to present you this deal. I need $100,000, and we're not going to talk ever again. You want to make sure when you get an investor in your pipeline, is you want to communicate with them. It's either email, phone call, maybe you meet up at a local shop for a coffee. Just you want to really strengthen relationships, and that will help you be very successful in this business. The other side is social proof. Nobody wants to be the first to arrive at a party or an event. That they don't want to be the one being the trailblazer. They want to see that other folks have participated or invested with you. So if you have one investor that who has enjoyed the experience with you, strongly suggest to start getting testimonials, or have them maybe do a video or post something on a Facebook page that you have, or just start getting credibility, because that you can include in what I call a credibility packet. And that would just to define that in case you don't know what that is. It's a packet of information that shares with somebody, again, being very crystal clear about your business, what you do, your philosophy, the types of deals you target, who you want to work with, your targeted audience, and then include something that shows that somebody else has done business with you. Maybe it's, again, a quick statement, hey, invested with Brian, guy's great, got a good return, thank you, something like that. It doesn't have to be paragraph or pages of a letter. And sometimes I get this question, and I'll give you just a tip: is investors will say, well, Brian, what do you want me to say? And I just say, share an experience, share with me what your experience was. I've heard folks who write the testimonial for that person, and I guess you could do that, but I'd rather let that in person kind of share their experience with me, because it's more helpful. Because if I try to write for them, it may not, might be perceived that I'm manipulating the situation. Okay, all right. Well, I think I got all your questions answered. Before I let everybody go, was this helpful, or is this something that you can maybe use, maybe a key nugget that we talked about? Is this something that you might be able to use in your business, something that we might have talked about? Can you just give me some feedback, yes or no, and I can modify the content. All right, great, thank you. All right, great. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate that. All right, guys. Well, if there is no further comments or questions, we are going to wrap it up. I hope you guys have just a wonderful day. Keep at it. And if you have questions about anything I've discussed on this call, either about the cash flow or marketing or Infusionsoft, or consulting or ebook questions, whatever, I'm here for you. So make sure that you and I stay connected, and you guys have yourself just a wonderful day. Take care.